now for our next news special report.
In a jaw-dropping turn of events, CNN has been forced to admit the truth about Alvin Bragg's case against President Donald Trump. As the trial unfolds, it's becoming increasingly clear that the Manhattan DA's politically motivated prosecution is built on a foundation of sand. Even Trump's son, Don Jr., has weighed in, arguing that the prosecution's reliance on Michael Cohen, a known liar, is the embodiment of reasonable doubt. So don't miss my final thought on this developing story. Now, folks, before we dive into Alvin Bragg's crumbling case against Trump, let me tell you about a device that's helping me beat the heat and stick it to the greedy utility companies. Just like Bragg's weak arguments, my AC bills were reaching record highs. But thanks to this mini magical AC unit, I'm able to slash my costs and keep more money in my pocket, just like how Trump's defense team is exposing the holes in Bragg's case. Visit EasySummerCool.com or click the link in the description for up to 60% off today. The Manhattan District Attorney Office, now led by Alvin Bragg, well, they've been on a mission to take down the former president, Donald Trump. However, as the trial progresses, it's becoming increasingly evident that their case is crumbling under the weight of reasonable doubt. Defense attorney Randy Zelin appeared on CNN and exposed the glaring weaknesses in Bragg's attempt to criminalize Trump's actions. Zelin argued that the prosecution failed to meet the burden of proof, citing the concept of reasonable doubt and how it applies to the case against Trump. Watch.
They fell way short because let's start with reasonable doubt. What is reasonable doubt? And it's not simply a doubt based upon reason. Anytime a human being needs to make an important decision in life, if you have enough information, for example, doctor says you need open heart surgery. Doc, go ahead and schedule. I don't have a reasonable doubt. Conversely, if I say, I appreciate it, but I need a second opinion, I need more information, that is having a reasonable doubt.
Now, the defense attorney also highlighted the numerous instances of reasonable doubt that plagued the prosecution's case, questioning the absence of key witnesses and the credibility of those who did testify. Watch.
There is reasonable doubt all over this case. Where is Keith Schiller? Where is Alan Weisselberg? How did Michael Cohen get away with stealing $30,000? Hold a pity party for him. Made $4 million on this, thought he'd be chief of staff. He's a fixer. If the plumber comes to my house to fix my leak, I could be home. That doesn't mean I know how he's doing it and what it's taking to be fixed. Stormy Daniels, let's hold a pity party for her.
Now, Zelin further criticized the relevance of certain aspects of Stormy Daniels' testimony, suggesting that they were more prejudicial than probative. Watch.
Why do we need to know whether or not the former president wore a condom or not? It's simply about, did the former president know that books, his records, false entries, for legal fees, Michael Cohen was his lawyer. Did he intend to cover up the election or to protect his family? It's everything.
The prosecution's case heavily relies on the testimonies of Michael Cohen and Stormy Daniels, both of whom have significant credibility issues. Cohen, Trump's former attorney, admitted to stealing from his former boss and has profited millions from his involvement in the case. Daniels, on the other hand, has made irrelevant and prejudicial statements that led to Trump's defense team filing a motion for a mistrial. Moreover, the decision not to call key witnesses, Alan Weisselberg, the Trump Organization's CFO, raises questions about the strength of the prosecution's case. Cohen testified that he and Weisselberg met with Trump in 2017 of January to discuss payments amounting to $420,000. But without Weisselberg's testimony, the jury is left with only Cohen's word. Former Department of Justice spokesman Anthony Coley expressed concern over the presence of two lawyers on the jury, suggesting that their analytical nature and technical expertise could lead to an acquittal. Watch.
I think what I would worry about if I'm on the prosecution case, and I say this tongue in cheek, because I ran communications at arguably the largest law firm in the world, the U.S. Justice Department, I do worry that there are lawyers on this jury, not one, but two lawyers. And by my own experience, lawyers can sometimes be overly analytical. They can be hyper-technical. And I do worry that the non-lawyers on this jury may rely on the lawyers who, quite frankly, don't have expertise in this area of the law.
So as the trial unfolds, it becomes increasingly apparent that Bragg's case against Trump is politically motivated and lacks the substantial evidence needed to provide guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. The defense team has effectively exposed the flaws in the prosecution's arguments, leaving many to question the validity of the charges brought against the former president. Donald Trump Jr., the former president's son, echoed these sentiments in a recent statement, highlighting the credibility issues of the prosecution's key witness, Michael Cohen. Watch.
Blanche summed it up best. If there was an MVP, if there was a GOAT of liars, it is Michael Cohen. Michael Cohen is the embodiment of reasonable doubt, and this entire case hinges on someone who has quite literally lied to every single person and body he's ever been in front of. He's lied before, I believe it's every branch of Congress. He's lied before his wife. He's lied to every body he's ever been in front of. He's lied before, I believe it's every branch of Congress. He's lied before his wife. He's lied to bankers. He's lied to all of you in the press. And he's actually lied to that very jury. And yet, he's the only person of relevance that this entire case hinges on. We understand that this is a political persecution. That was evidenced today by the Biden campaign themselves holding a rally here. And Robert De Niro, who was shot down, but apparently he needs attention because it's been a while since he's cranked out a good movie. But think about it. They bring out one actor. Remember in 2020 when every A-list actor in the world showed up for Joe Biden, they lined up one by one? Now they get one person. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson disavowed, said, hey, listen, I regret voting for him. Cardi B, all the people that lined up behind Joe Biden understand that he has failed our country. He has failed the citizens of this nation. Frankly, he has failed the world. But the fact that they're holding a rally across the seat from this very witch hunt, right across the street, tells us exactly what we all knew all along, that it is a political persecution. It is a witch hunt. There is a reason one of the people sitting at that desk was the number 3 person in Joe Biden's DOJ. I know my father is not allowed to say Matthew Colangelo in his name, right? Because he's been gagged. The President of the United States is not allowed to exercise his First Amendment rights in New York City in this day and age. Does that not tell us all everything we need to know about what we're witnessing? It's a witch hunt. They're using it as a political fundraiser, just like this very judge's daughter has profited from this very case. It is an insanity. It is an embarrassment. It's an abomination to democracy and to our republic. And yet it continues. Everyone in this case is conflicted, and it hinges on one man who's not just a liar, convicted, someone who's lost his law license, has been disbarred, someone who's served jail time for lying before congressional bodies. And that's it. That's where we are today in America. This is a sham. It's insane, and it needs to stop, because if you think for 1 second that this ends with Donald Trump, you have not been watching what's going on in the Democrat Party in the last few years. They want power at any and all costs. Your rights be damned. That can't stand. That can't happen. This sham prosecution, this insanity, this abomination has to stop now.
Amen. He argued that Cohen's involvement in the case is the very definition of reasonable doubt, given his extensive history of deception and dishonesty. He emphasized that the entire prosecution hinges on the testimony of an individual who's consistently lied to every authority he's faced. He also suggested that the trial is not an isolated incident, but rather part of a larger pattern of the Democrat Party's relentless pursuit of power at any cost over the past 2 years. And his comments underscore the growing belief that the prosecution's reliance on Cohen's testimony is a fundamental weakness in their case. With Cohen's history of lying and inconsistent statements, the defense team has ample opportunity to cast doubt on his credibility, further eroding the foundation of Bragg's case against Trump. If you got value from this report, tap subscribe. My final thought is next. When even CNN, a network notorious for its anti-Trump bias, is forced to admit that Alvin Bragg's case against the former president is falling apart, you know it's bad news for the prosecution and great news for Donald Trump. The Manhattan DA's politically motivated witch hunt is crumbling under the weight of reasonable doubt, and the American people are starting to see through the facade. This trial is a sham, and Trump will emerge victorious.
Congratulations, you made it to the end of the video. Now keep up your quest for truth with this next news report. And if you found our channel enlightening, join the millions who agree with you. Tap subscribe. Thank you for watching the Next News Network.